We're going to call this the May meeting of the Lenore County Board of Education to order. We will recognize Mr. Harvey for the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interests of our young people. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Williams will present the agenda for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Board of Education, tonight it's my pleasure to present for your consideration and hopefully approval tonight's agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
All right. Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Hill. Any further discussion on the agenda for this evening? And we'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. The agenda is approved. Next item is the board chair comments. I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm not sure why everyone's here, but I guess we'll find out as the meeting goes on. I did have one announcement. The Board of Education appoints members of the Lenore County Board of Trustees for Lenore Community College. We do that routinely, and we have several trustees. One of our trustees is Herman Caraway. He's been serving in that capacity, I think, for 20 years now. On our behalf on the LCC board, we want to thank him for his service. He's not here tonight, but we want to thank him for his service, and he has asked not to be reappointed at this time. So the board will make a new appointment to the Lenore Community College Board. We need to do that by the end of June. So I'm going to let the board members know if you have any suggestions, provide those to Mr. Williams. We'll convene a small committee of the board to review them and make the board a recommendation for the next meeting. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Mr. Williams for his announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is National Teacher Appreciation Week. So on this week in our schools, we're having celebrations of our staff members. Many of our schools, in fact most of them, have decided to amend that and make it National Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week and really honor all the service of all of their staff members in the schools. So we certainly honor our teachers and all of our other staff members in our schools for what they do every day and what they mean to the young people that we all are so richly blessed to serve. Teachers, your commitment to kids is truly inspiring, and our job gets more and more difficult every day because the ever-changing needs of our world demand that our kids have greater, deeper, wider sets of skills to be ready for this global community in which we live. And literally our world is at our fingertips with smartphones and handheld devices and all that, but we need to use those to be prepared to be successful in this global and competitive world. And you do an amazing job of that every day. I appreciate you, our whole administrative team, our Board of Education appreciates your service to kids, and we're awed by what you do every single day in your classroom. So thank you very much. Tonight it's my honor to recognize many children, and you'll see that from our technology showcase, and you'll see that in my comments here and the students we're about to commend. But I want to say to those gathered here tonight, to our parents, thank you for sharing your young people with us. To the teachers, thank you for what you're doing. And to other loved ones, grandparents and aunts and uncles and other ones who are here to support these young people tonight as we recognize so many of them. I do indeed see it as one of my missions to recognize as many children as we can. We have some amazing things happening in this school system, and it's my honor each month to highlight those and spotlight what our kids are doing. Our kids are truly amazing, and there's no better proof of that than having you see and hear each month at our board meetings what they're doing. So tonight, several examples. I'll begin with 3 LCPS graduating seniors. They've been chosen from more than 2,600 applicants statewide to receive college scholarships from the Golden Leaf Foundation, valued at $12,000 over 4 years each. Named scholarship winners and Golden Leaf scholars were, and I'll ask them to come forward, and we'll recognize all three when they come forward, and I'll ask my board chair and vice chair to assist with the presentations of scholarships, and then they'll remain for the other, if you'll just remain up for the other presentations as well. But first, Patty Pinnell from North Lenoir High School, Riley Houston and Skylar Herring from South Lenoir High School. If you guys would come forward, please, to the front and wait. And I just want to tell everybody, as you're coming forward, about your college plans. Patty plans to attend Western Carolina University to study nursing. She's on a track to graduate next month with an associate's degree from Lenoir Community College, as well as her high school diploma at the same time in the same week. Now that's something that moms and dads and grandparents in the audience, when we were in school, that wasn't possible. But 2 years of college, and then she can start as a sophomore or beyond anywhere at no cost to her parents. So Patty, we're very, very proud of you. Let's give Patty a round of applause. Riley plans to major in exercise science at Mount Olive University, where she will enter as a sophomore. Let me say that again, a sophomore at no cost so far because of her hard work, having completed 46 hours and of college credit during high school. Let's give Riley a round of applause. Skylar is headed to East Carolina University to major in construction management. Let's give Skylar a round of applause. Hey guys, our original plan was to have you make a long speech up here. Is that okay? Come forward.
Just have the young people in the middle.
And Raj.
Not bad. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 more. 1, 2, 3,
North Lenoir High School juniors Abigail Ormond and Matthew Riddick have been selected to attend the North Carolina Governor's School on its East Campus at Meredith College this summer. Abigail plans to study English and Matthew will study natural science. They are in the 11th and 12th grades from North Lenoir, and they're chosen for, they are the 11th and 12th students from North Lenoir chosen for this highly selective summer program in the past 5 years. So that's an accomplishment too. And I also want to add that both of their parents are LCPS staff members. So we're proud of that, proud of their families, proud of them as well. Let's give Abigail and Matthew a round of applause.
You on tiptoes, Bruce.
1, 2, 3, 1 more.
Lost the thing.
Right, thank
8 students from Kinston High School's HOSA program have qualified to attend the HOSA International Conference in Texas this summer due to their strong scores on the healthcare issues exam administered recently in Greensboro. Congratulations to these 8 students. If you would come forward, please. Rebecca Fields, Kamisha Taft, Joya Sessoms, Brennan Hill, Novia Moore, Kaiser Parker, Zamiri Gillis, and Mikkel Taylor.
You stand in the chair.
Yeah.
Stand on the table. Let you stand on the table. That worked, Bruce. That worked. We did.
Bless you.
Okay, right here, one, three. One, three. One, two, one more. One, two. Right, thank you.
It's different.
This team will represent us in Texas this summer, and they will be accompanied to the competition by HOSA advisor Ms. Crystal Payton Demery. Is she here?
Yes.
Kimberly, if you'll stand, let's give her a round of applause. On this Teacher Appreciation Week and every day, we thank you for what you're doing with the kids. Thank you so much. All right, it's now my pleasure to honor the team from Southwood Elementary School, the Elementary Battle of the Books team. They won here at the regional, they won here at the local level, and they represented Lenoir County at the regional competition as well. And they did a great job, and we certainly want to have them come forward, please. And their advisors, I believe, are here tonight too. So we'd like for all of you to come forward, and we have certificates for all. Congratulations to team members: Island Shirley, Mason Jones, Michael Mazingo, Riley Hoover. And coaches Gail Outlaw, Lisa Jones, Angie Jarman, all Southwood faculty members. If you come forward, let's give them a round of applause.
That John. Switch hands with
Okay. Let's get all the kids up for it. Not that far. All right, we're good. All right, one, three. One, two, three. One more. One, two, three. Right.
We'd also like to commend longtime LCPS educator Teresa Anderson. She's been named by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction as one of 6 regional reading coaches in the state. She's long been recognized as an expert in reading instruction, and she'll work with K-12 teachers from within the 13-county southeast region and across the state to augment reading instruction, and she'll train educators to become certified instructors in the foundational reading program for reading instruction. So congratulations to Ms. Anderson as well. Is Ms. Anderson here tonight? So congratulate Teresa when you see her for a job well done. Tonight we would like to thank the employees of Spirit Aerosystems in Kinston for the $10,000 grant given by the local plant to one of our staff members, a teacher, media coordinator at Kinston High School, Ms. Catherine Seitzer. Since joining the high school faculty as media coordinator at Kinston High, she has generated $16,200 from 3 separate grants, all geared toward transforming the media center from its present state to a hub of activity for independent learning and facilitated learning with students in the areas of STEM, and also facilitating basic coding opportunities for kids. So congratulations to Ms. Seitzer. Is she here tonight? Please congratulate her when you see her. That's an outstanding effort. She just came on board this year, and already $16,200 in additional funding for her learning environment at Kinston High School. We're very proud of her efforts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams. Next item is public comment. I thought I had some people signed up.
It was just the HOSA and Mr. Battle.
Okay, so we'll do those when we, later in the
There's
agenda?
not any.
or-
I mean, there's not really any.
We'll just offer the opportunity.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else who would like to speak? We'd love to hear from somebody at some point. We'll move to the presentation portion of our agenda, the Digital Learning Student Showcase. Ms. Herring, if you'll introduce.
It is public comment. You have public comment? They have public comment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Okay.
wanted to do it in
Mr. Godfrey, yeah, please come forward.
Yeah, I thought we would wait until it came up on the agenda.
Well, we've actually got it as an action item, so probably the time to speak would be now.
Okay.
But thank you for coming.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm here tonight along with my wife Robin to ask that you honor a man who has been such an inspiration to so many young men in our community for more than 30 years. On behalf of my family, which all 4 of our children graduated from Kinston High School, I would like to recommend that the Lenoir County Board of Education strongly consider naming the baseball field and complex at Kinston High School in honor of Coach Ronnie Battle, who recently passed away. As you're aware, Coach Battle served as the head baseball coach for Kinston High School from 1980 until 2003. Ronnie Battle was not only a great baseball coach, but even a better person who always showed a genuine concern for others, such as my stepson, Davin Arnold, who played for Coach Battle both at Kinston High School and for Post 43. Coach Battle was the longest tenured and winningest baseball coach in Kinston High School history, winning over 221 games. He also coached the Kinston Post 43 American Legion baseball team, which is hosted there at Kinston High School, a program he helped organize in the late 1990s. Coach Battle is a member of the Kinston-Lenoir County Sports Hall of Fame, having been inducted in 2014. Terry Bowles, the athletic officer for Post 43, stated it well when he said, "Money was never a motivator for him. And while winning was great, he taught the kids there was more to it than winning and losing. He taught them how to win with respect, and how to be humble if they got beat, and how to learn from it and move on. He was always trying to teach the kids how to become better young men." Coach Battle was a Kinston native who attended Savannah High in Grifton, and who also fought 2 years in the Vietnam War while serving in the United States Army. Coach Battle earned his teaching degree from FSU and earned a walk-on spot with the baseball team, and led the team in hitting in 2072 and 73. North Lenore baseball coach Jackson Macy called Battle an old school baseball coach, and like others, Massey said there was more to Battle than just being a coach. He was a man of faith, and you could really tell he had a big impact on the kids' lives, and his memory will stay with everybody for a long time. I ask that you keep that memory alive by naming the baseball complex at Kinston High School in his honor. I can't think of any other person in our community who is more deserving of this award in this honor. I would like at this time to ask all those who are in attendance tonight that support bestowing this honor who are present tonight to stand. Thank you all for coming. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of support for Coach Battle to receive this honor. In addition, this proposal has been endorsed by the administration at Kinston High School and the Kinston-Lenoir County Parks and Recreation Commission. I thank you for your consideration, and I hope when this comes up on the agenda later on that you will vote unanimously to bestow this honor on Coach Battle, somebody who I think is well deserved of this great honor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board, for hearing me tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Godfrey. We have one more. Ms. Battle, come forward, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Therese Battle Young. I'm the daughter of Coach Battle. Thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight. And I'd also like to thank Jim and Robin Godfrey for pushing this initiative and the endorsements from Kinston High School and Kinston-Lenoir County Parks and Recreation Center. I'd like to just read a letter that I submitted to the school board on behalf of the Battle, Farrell, and Anderson families. Thank you, Superintendent Williams, for your humble and heartfelt response. Dear school board members, we are writing to ask for your support in naming the baseball field at Kinston High School in honor of our husband and father, Ronnie J. Battle. Ronnie dedicated more than 40 years of work to the athletic community of Kinston and Lenoir County. He coached the Kinston High Vikings for 28 years and the American Legion Post 43 baseball team for 19 years. During his tenure, he earned several playoff awards and accolades. In addition, he served the Lenoir County school system as a physical education teacher at J.H. Sampson and C.H. Bynum elementary schools for 30 years. During our time with Ronnie, we all knew that his work as a teacher and a coach was special. However, after his passing in January 2018, we were amazed by the broad scope of his impact on the athletes and community at large. We were humbled to meet former students, Viking athletes, alumni, and the post-43 players from a multitude of generations, ethnicities, backgrounds, and professions who all had one thing in common: their adoration and respect for Coach Battle. They told us that they were inspired to work in education, attend college, pursue athletics, serve their communities, and serve God because they crossed paths with him. He would have been proud to know all of the good work he had done. Over his lifetime, Ronnie received many distinctions. However, we believed his work behind the scenes counted for more than his public recognitions. To us, Kinston High baseball field is synonymous with Ronnie Battle. Not only was he there coaching his own teams, but he would be there watching other baseball games, working in concession stand, hosting picnics for his players, maintaining the facility. If he was not at home with us, we could ride down Cunningham Road, day or night, and see him there cutting the grass, striping the baselines, loading supplies in the concession stand, or sweeping out the locker room. The baseball field was his home away from home. And my mom, his wife Berta, would always joke, "Ronnie spends so much time at that baseball field. You know, one day Kinston High ought to name it after him." It is time to make that a reality. Please vote in support of naming Kinston High's baseball field the Ronnie Battle Baseball Complex. We would be honored if you would commemorate his life's work on his beloved battlefield. Humbly submitted, Berta Battle, Therese Battle Young, Ronnie Joel Battle, and the Battle, Farrell, and Anderson families. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Is that all? Okay. All right. We will get to that item in our agenda, but we're going to go through some presentation items first. So if Ms. Herring will introduce the Digital Learning Student Showcase.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This evening we have students from Banks Elementary, and they look so smart. They're all dressed up. They look so nice. They're here to share with us tonight the I Can Research and First project. The teachers with it this evening are Miss Catherine Griffin and Miss Beth Edwards, teacher assistant. And the presentation will showcase how the students took information they gained from text and digital-based resources on dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs. On dinosaurs, created scenes with model dinosaurs and inserted photos from the web to create a final product in a program called Shadow Puppet. I will give the names of the students and I will turn it over to you, Ms. Griffin. So we have this evening Brianna Moore, Cooper Sugg, Demirian Gum, Emma Kearney, Jackson West, Jocelyn Oliver, Kipton Saunders, he's not here, Layla Edwards, Samaria Sutton Mewburn, and Talea Jefferson. Did I miss anybody? Good. Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
Thank you. This is so exciting. So this journey began back in 2016, 2017 when I attended NC TIES as a conference attendee. And I was in between sessions and I was walking along to go to my next one, not paying any mind to the little students in the middle until one of them grabbed me when I went by and said, "Would you like to see my project I made about the 3 little pigs?" I said, "Sure." So they proceeded to show me a book that they had made using using technology on their iPad to make their, I gotta make my slideshow play, wait a minute. Show me their little digital project that they had made on their iPads. And I thought to myself, my kids could so do this. We do this every day. So I decided back in the fall when they sent out submissions, and I went ahead and applied to take my students. This is actually a project that was originally a paper pencil project about 5 years ago until ILCPS came along and it became totally digital. So basically, to make it very short, the children chose the dinosaur that they wanted to research. Through Google Classroom, I sent them kid-friendly, adult-approved dinosaur research sites that I knew that they could get information from, as well as a variety of text. They completed a graphic organizer using the internet and the books, took from the graphic organizer the information and typed it up in pages to make an informational piece. From that, they Googled through Photos for Class, not Googled, they went through Photos for Class to find realistic photos of their dinosaurs, along with some of them are artistic children, so they actually drew their dinosaurs, and then all the children made set scenes with dinosaur models. And then they took those photos, put them in Shadow Puppet, along with reading as they showed all the pictures that they had inserted. And when we were done, we made a keynote, and they learned about having the title page and having the credit page, because we had to give credit to those that we got our information from. I think 2 things I wanted to share. One of the funnest part of this entire project was taking these kids to Raleigh. I was a little bit nervous taking them where they would have to kind of be able to just step out of their comfort zone and talk to everyone. And they were not scared at all, as you can see. They just went to it. And they said, "Miss Griffin, I had 43 customers." And I'm like, I think maybe I need to work on place value a little bit. I don't think it was 43. But the other highlight of this is this one project taught 30 standards, from ELA standards, science standards, and information and technology standards. So what the children are going to do, they thought their presentation's ready. They're just going to come along the back, and they're just going to go find somebody, and they're going to let you watch their presentation. It's short. It's like a minute, 2 minutes at the most, something like that.
I think they'd enjoy watching themselves on the screen.
I know one of them had the one with the glass.
You're on still.
Coming on.
Now we're gonna come back.
These are some pictures that I posted. Except there's a video. This one's because they push on it's weighing 7.5 pounds. That's 30 feet tall, 7 feet deep, and then 2 planes. And weighs 75 pounds. It has 4 legs and walks feathers, and it also has
Okay. Yes, you did.
I think the Very good. Very
Now show them what you're going to say.
That's very good. Good job. Excellent. Good stuff.
The credit.
I know what that is.
Is this where you got some of your team?
Keep up the good work. Okay.
Isn't that a team?
Yes, ma'am.
Download it, so you see it.
Most of it, they don't know what
Yeah, Friday.
Somebody in there. That's it. Very good. Very good. Thank you. I was going to be interactive tonight.
Good job.
What you got, sweetheart?
And yours?
Let's get up here so Miss Francis can see.
Triceratops. And your Cooper's son. He's got a big.
I think it's cool too. So do you think that
Does he eat just vegetables or does he eat meat too? Just eat plants, okay. Maybe.
I sure would. Let's see what you have there.
One last thing I wanted to share. This project was done the beginning of December. So these were young first graders that completed this project, and it took us about a week between Miss Edwards, myself, and Miss Hood, our DLS.
Thank you. So that's where you got all your information. Thank you.
Good job.
Its name means they are
Thank you.
We could just stay all night. I mean,
Oh, that was good. Yeah, this was before Christmas. Not even halfway through fourth grade.
Definitely on shot.
Yeah, it would be slow as well.
Shoe fits. He's probably still on the first one.
Is that right? Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin, Ms.
Thank you.
Edwards, and to the parents here, thank you for sharing your young people with us every day. Great job, guys. Great job, young people. Continue to excel. If
They're gonna be like when they get to high school.
If anyone, people ask me all the time about our future, and they say, well, how is it working in the schools? And, they'll say this, that, and some of the other about our future. What I say is our future is bright, without question. If anybody needs proof, I hope they don't, but if they need proof, they need only look at what's happening in our classrooms every day and in the bright, smiling faces of these young people.
Thank you, Mr. Williams, and thank you to our students, our first grade classes. We're going to move on to the Kinston High School JROTC field trip.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, we would like to share with you all tonight a group for the junior ROTC cadets from Kinston High School went on a wonderful trip to Washington, D.C., New York City, and they met up with other cadets from some other high schools. And they have put together a movie to show you highlights of their trip to D.C. and to New York City. And then some of the cadets are here with us tonight to share some of their reflections. And so I will read the names of the students and so that they'll all be recognized. And if I miss anyone, you all be sure to get me straight, okay? So we have Desire Whitfield Lee. Is she here? Dania Wiggins. Jakiah Summers. Oh goodness. Nicholin Kilpatrick. I'm sorry, honey, thank you. Deja Carrier. Thank you. I don't have my glasses. Talika Bazell. I know. Danae Wiggins. Sonia, is it Yemi? And Eric Bethea. Great, wonderful. So who will be conducting, who will come on up?
Don't all run.
So do you all want to share the video first or share your reflections in the video? It's up to you. Reflections first? Wonderful, thank you.
All right.
So who wants to go first? You can go first.
You guys want to come up?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we went from first graders to high school kids.
Okay. My name is Erica Bethea. To be given the chance to lay the wreath was very special to me. I always doubted myself on what I can and can't do, but when Master Sergeant Gray asked me if I could do that, it gave me a little confidence boost. And when the soldier was giving us the instructions on what to do, I felt a little nervous because this is a huge thing to me. And I was being watched by many people and I didn't want to mess up. And during the wreath laying, a lot was going through my mind, and I felt myself mess up a little bit, but I continued on and I didn't let it ruin the whole ceremony. And afterwards I felt great, and the soldiers said we did a great job, and there were many people that came up to me and the other cadets saying that we did a good job and thanked us. I felt honored. I felt like there were other people better than me that could have done it, but I was chosen, so I was humble. And I appreciate Master Sergeant Gray and other soldiers, the soldiers in charge of the entire ceremony, to give me the opportunity to do such a noble thing. And it may not seem like a big thing to everyone else, but it was huge to me, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life, and I wish I could experience that again.
My name is Deja Carey. The part I really drove the most was when we went to the Toe of the Unknown Soldiers, and I got to see the changing of the guards and 4 cadets. One of our very own, Erica Bethea, got to help lead the Wreath. My second favorite thing was getting to see a military picture. It was unexpected. It was at the Arlington National Cemetery. A few sites were selected. Cadets briefed us on them in Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Memorial, U.S. Capitol, the Toe of the Unknown Soldiers, the White House, and the U.S. Supreme Court. Those are just a few. In New York, they briefed us on the African Memorial Museum, Ground Zero, Times Square, United Nations, and the Statue of Liberty. The whole trip was a blast, and I learned things I did not know and met some new friends. My name is Dania Williams. My trip to New York and DC was awesome. I've seen different places and different things. We visited a lot of museums, like the National Museum of American History and the Museum of Natural History. We also visited the Capitol Center and we took a lot of pictures. New York went well. We walked around Times Square, and we also went to Battery Park where we rode the ferry to Liberty Island to visit the Statue of Liberty. And we was on Good Morning America the next morning. All I can say is, if I get the opportunity to take this trip again, I will. My name is Denai Wiggins. My experience during the New York and DC trip was a big one that I'll never forget. We visited a lot of very important places. We visited the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where an officer is assigned for every hour of the day to guard and watch over the tomb. We walked the streets of New York City and saw a whole array of things. We visited Times Square and even sailed on a huge tour boat to Liberty Island. Overall, the trip was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for $300 and spending money the deal couldn't have been there.
My name is Corey Chen. My trip to Washington, D.C. and New York was fantastic. I was expecting more walk-ins, I guess. I was very warm, but I'm not complaining at all. Overall, I loved the trip. My favorite part was the Statue of Liberty. It was the first time I ever get to see the symbol of freedom close up. But time was the enemy of that day. I didn't get a chance to go into the statue, but I'm happy. Statue of Liberty is a symbol of freedom. I felt special to be able to go and see the statue in person. I very much enjoyed the trip. I hope the next time I go to New York, it will be the day I get to stand closer to Spring Liberty.
My name is Sonia Lee. My experience on New York DC was very incredible. My favorite part was going to see the Museum of Natural History. There was a lot of hands-on stuff. And there was a section where you got to invent different things and publish it and show it to people who were also in that section. And every section was people shopping and doing. But I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And Master Sergeant Gray, the instructor, is here. If you'd please stand, and Principal Kellen Bryant, we'd like to recognize you too for your work with the kids. Thank
you. All right, the next item on our agenda is the E2 Regional STEM Summit Summary.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sergeant. At this time, I've asked Ms. Amy Jones, our high school and CTE director, to share with you the highlights from Lenoir County Public Schools' presence at the E2 Regional STEM Summit last week in New Bern. It's hosted by the STEM East group, of which we are a member and have been for many years. We were asked to come and highlight 2 of our STEM projects in the district. And the 2 that we chose were our Elementary Science Olympiad teams and programs. We've had 2 summers now, 2 years now where we have held the regional Elementary Science Olympiad competition. And then the other was to showcase our summer STEM camps. And so we had teachers and students and principals in New Bern in the Convention Center last week, highlighting and telling everyone how great Lenoir County Public Schools is. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Amy Jones to give you a brief overview of what that looked like. And I don't have their students' names I want to introduce.
We have, I'll let Ms. Mercer introduce. Betsy Mercer, 5th grade teacher at Hill, and this is Jack Whitfield and Julie Gray.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. And those guys went to New Bern last week.
Yes, they did.
Wonderful.
Yes, they did. Thank you, Mr. White. Well, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to share our E2 Summit presentation with you. The E2 Summit was an event where we were showcased with some other districts. It was a walk-around session so that we could engage with employers effectively. So it was not a sit down and present like this, but it was more interactive between the students and the people who were there. The STEM team from Lenoir County Public Schools was recently asked to present at the E2 Summit held in New Bern, which was sponsored by STEM East, or the NC East Alliance organization. And as Ms. Herring said, we were asked to spotlight 2 of our district initiatives that promote STEM education in this forum. The forum was designed to connect school districts to employers and resources from across the region. So this all came about because we are part of the STEM East network, and we have been engaged with them for several years now. We have an LCPS STEM team, and I've listed the members of that STEM team. It is, we change members as we need to, but right now we have Ms. Herring, Dr. Winings, Dr. McLeod, myself, Rhonda Green, Elizabeth Pierce, Stephanie Harrell, Brittany Harrison, Megan Lawson, and then Mark Pope. We communicate with him as well on our STEM East endeavors. So LCPS has a STEM team that's attended multiple workshops and work sessions, and they're designed to help us develop and implement our district STEM plan. And through these meetings, we have made strong connections with the STEM East partner districts and with the STEM East leadership. And this is hard to read, but I have large posters over there if you would like to see it in greater detail. But this is actually the cover page of our STEM plan, and it contains the overarching goals of our STEM education plan. It was actually developed in 2013 by an entirely different STEM team, and we have revised it and kept it current in each subsequent year. And you can see that we have goals around curriculum, professional development, assessment, material support, and administrative and community support. This is our Lenoir County Public Schools logic model. So one of the products of the work sessions is our logic model. In this model, we've taken the overarching goals that I just shared with you and condensed them into one goal. All of our activities and outcomes point towards this purpose, which helps our focus on STEM education. This logic model has been recognized by the Friday Center and by STEM East as an exemplar logic model in the region. And we chose 2 of our activities off of the logic model that have a high level of impact to highlight at the E2 Summit. And again, I have a large poster if you would like to read that a little bit later. Our highlighted programs. Our team felt that the extended STEM learning opportunities that we have in our district that have a significant impact on the district as a whole, and we chose to highlight those instead of highlighting school sites. We wanted to show how we have an overarching impact. We chose our STEM summer camps and our district-wide commitment to Science Olympiad as our high-impact accomplishments. The STEM summer camps have become an established part of our summer programming over the past 3 years and have reached hundreds of students over the years. Even our high school students have the opportunity to volunteer at the summer camps. The curriculum is high quality and our teachers benefit from participating in this type of experiential teaching and learning during the summer, which hopefully translates into improved teaching practices throughout the school year. We're very proud of our STEM summer camp program, and we had a lot of interest from people that walked around the room and to our curriculum and what the things that we're doing with our students. And our Science Olympiad program is unique in that every school in the district hosts a team, and those teams receive significant district support. That support comes in the form of a coaches clinic, registration fees, student transportation, and even hosting our own competition for our elementary students. Middle and high school students compete at regional events, at the regional event which is hosted at Lenore Community College. And Mr. Williams has shared with you the successes that our Science Olympiad teams have had over the past 2 years and how that program has impacted our schools. Many of the guests at the summit commented, and they commented on the Science Olympiad initiative and praised us for supporting this initiative on a district-wide scale. Other districts said, "How do you do it?" They were very impressed with that, and many of the community people and employers also commented that this was very unusual for a district to support the Science Olympiad across the whole district. So, get to the good stuff. Our LCPS E2 presentation team, Dr. Winings and I were really just there for support, so Dr. Winings wave for us. Miss Becky Hines, NC State NCLA Fellow, was there to present for our summer camps. But what we were very, very interested in having one of our schools recognized. So because there's no one better to tell our story than the students who are impacted by the program. So our team consisted of Becky Hines is the STEM Summer Camp Director. And our team from Pink Hill facilitated the Science Olympiad discussion. We are incredibly proud of our Science Olympiad team from Pink Hill. I wore my red tonight for them. They were not only the host of this year's Elementary Science Olympiad competition, but they were also our first place team winners. And all of our schools exhibited success. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jack Whitfield and to Brendan Gray and Ms. Mercer. And they're going to talk to you a little bit about their experience, hopefully a little bit about their Science Olympiad project, because I asked them to bring to the summit one of the things that they had worked on for Science Olympiad. And then it's okay if you didn't bring it tonight, you can talk about it. And also that they engaged with the people that were walking around the room and talked to them about the Science Olympiad program and how it had impacted their learning. And so while they're coming up, I'm going to share a slideshow of pictures while they're talking, and it's Science Olympiad pictures, some from middle school, but most from the elementary Science Olympiad. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Okay, so Jack is going to tell us about what, you want to go first? Tell him about what you did at Science Olympiad, which you created. And first we were last year at Science Olympiad, right? And we went, oh, you go ahead. We have to do that a little different.
Me and Brendan competed in 2 different events. Well, no, 3 different events, and we did one called Chew the Fat, which is kind of like about the human body, the organs, different human body systems, and we got first place in that. We competed in one called Science Passwords, kind of like where they give you a word, and then you had to come up with 2 words that could like stand for that word. That's not that word. That was kind of a hard one, but we did come in first place in that one. And we also completed in one called 3-2-1 Blast Off, which was where we had to build bottle rockets and launch them outside. And we came second place in that one. But I think one of the reasons that we were able to go from last place to first place is because we competed, we entered in every event that was there, and we also have more experience going into it because last year was our first year doing it. So.
You could tell about the conference we went to.
Last Thursday we went to the conference in New Bern, the E2 Summit, and it was fun. We had our project set up at our table, and we stood there and other people came by and asked us questions about our project, and then we answered them. And then the rest of the time, we went around and looked at some of the other people's projects. There was one that was virtual reality where you put on a mask and it like took you into a human blood vein and then showed you different types of blood cells. And there was a robot that someone programmed that you could talk to and then have it do different actions.
In middle school, you can
Do a STEM class.
STEM class in middle school, in high school, right?
Yeah.
Good
Good
job.
job.
So I just want to thank Ms. Mercer and the students, Jack and Brendan, for going with us to the conference and helping us present. Much as people enjoy talking to adults, they would certainly much rather talk to Jack and Brendan. But they did a great job, and I also want to thank Patrick Holmes for providing me with the pictures that we used for the slideshow that we shared at the presentation as well. Do you all have any questions that we can answer for you?
Jack and Brendan and Miss Mercer and Miss Hardy came in. Congratulations to y'all and thank you for hosting the Science Olympiad this year. And guys, thank you for representing Lenore County Public Schools at this big regional event in New Bern. We're very proud of you. You did a great job there and you did a great job here tonight. So thank you. And thank y'all for what you're doing with the kids.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the financial report. Mr. Adams.
Good evening, board members. The March and April 2018 financial reports are prepared for your review. The reports present budget to actual information for all fund sources as well as local current expense fund balance as of the end of each month. As you'll recall, the April meeting was held a week before the start of April, and that's why the March report is prepared here. We did not have our month closed out. We actually didn't have payroll processed at the time of the April meeting, and that's why the March and April are both prepared for you tonight.
Any questions for Mr. Adams on the financial report this evening? All right. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you.
Next item is the Apple surplus equipment sale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the March 5th, 2018 board meeting, the board declared the Apple handheld devices surplus equipment subject to trade-in as surplus equipment, and thereby enacting the upset bid process. We've been through that this month, and we did not receive any upset bids, and that process has concluded, and you have your information in there. We have received a bid in the amount of $782,217 from Union Hill Trading, and this bid was advertised for upset bid on April 25th, and as I said, we didn't receive any upset bids. So tonight we're all asking for your authorization your authorization to move forward and select this highest bidder for going forward pursuant to GS 160A-269.
So we'll entertain a motion to approve and accept the bid as proposed.
So moved.
All right, motion by Mr. Anderson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. King. Any further discussion on the motion? Then we'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. The bid is accepted and move forward. Next item is the new calendar option for the 2018-2019 school year. Ms. Herring, this is one that was provided to us last meeting for review. Comes on this meeting as an action item.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At last month's meeting, you were presented with a draft of a additional option for the 18-19 calendar. we respectfully ask this evening that you approve this calendar for the upcoming year.
And just for the folks that are here that might not have been here last time outside of the board members, what are the benefits of the new calendar as you see them?
There's several benefits. This gives us, it gives the high schools the opportunity to complete one full semester before Christmas break. They can finish first semester, take their exams, and be done, so that when they come back after Christmas, the first day back is the first day of second semester. It helps with the learning gap that we suffer from now with the calendar that we have. We go into Christmas break with the calendar now, and then we come back and there's 3 weeks before final exams, and second semester doesn't begin until the end of January. So it's a difficult transition between first and second semester. It also allows for the school to get out at the end of May, and we're able to, gives us the time to cinch up the year and have plenty of time to prepare for exams second semester and then finish the year. This particular calendar gives the high schools the opportunity to have a day between the last day of the year and graduation day on Saturday. Many times it's about a 12-hour turnover. So school ends on Friday and graduation is the next morning. So this particular calendar, the high schools have a day to prepare, which is tremendous. There are many things about this calendar that remain the same from our current calendar. Good Friday is still a designated holiday. There's an early release day on Thursday, March 5th, and there's a work day on Friday, March 6th. And that's to accommodate the LCPS staff who are attending the NC Ties conference. You saw one of the largest benefits of attending that conference tonight with Banks Elementary students. And that was a request given to us last year that we tried to accommodate the schools' attendance at NC Ties by having work days and early release days that overlap that conference. It saves the schools from having to pay for substitute teachers. It makes for a much easier day when your teachers are gone to this conference. All the calendar laws are met with this option. The day before Thanksgiving is still a vacation day here in Lenore County. That's one of those days that's valued very highly in Lenore County. There are almost 2 full weeks for Christmas break with this calendar. And the return day after Christmas break is actually a Thursday, January 4th, which is an optional work day. So the teachers can opt to take that, and then the required work day is Friday, January 5th. So we have in the past come back very quickly after spring break, and this calendar allows us that flexible time after the first of the year. So.
And to remember the volume of students we're talking about, like the kids, some of those recognized for scholarships at the beginning of tonight's meeting, we were talking about having a full 2-year degree worth of community college classes, and starting as a sophomore or beyond in college based on those units. Well, those units were generated while in high school, but every single one of them had to be generated off the scheduling grid, if you will, because our semester doesn't end until the end of January, but their semester begins after the first week of January. So our community college, being that we share 30% of their currently enrolled population at LCC is made up of currently enrolled LCPS students. So we have a deep, wide partnership with them. So we're not talking about a handful of students, we're talking about a lot of our student population. So it really is an instructional issue for all of our high school students, but for those many, many high school students who are taking the dual enrollment classes, then you know, it's a very difficult situation for the community college. They've been great. LCC's been outstanding in working with us, but they've had to basically be doing 2 different enrollments at the same time, finishing and taking final exams over here at the high school, while at the same time starting a new class that they're not yet attending because they're still over here at the high school. So that's the mismatch that we have, and this would close that. And then for all high school students, there's the instructional issue that Ms. Herring mentioned. That's really the driving thing, because high school principals, and they're here tonight, Other administrators, counselors, they've said for many, many years, this is what we need. They placed it at the top of their list of priorities for scheduling. Certainly we think so. As Ms. Herring referenced, it really doesn't change the schedule for everybody else that dramatically. One of the most dramatic changes is the number of teacher work days, and they're packed at the beginning of the year to go deeper and wider is the theory, instead of a day here and there, and not really to be able to get started with professional development and continue the next day or throughout the week, but instead just have one day or so or a half day or so. And this is an investment in trying to go down a different road with that. But largely the schedule, if you look at it, looks similar to what we've had in the past.
All right, any other questions about the new schedule as proposed? Do we have a motion to approve the new schedule? A motion from Mr. Anderson, second from Mr. Hill. Any further discussion on the calendar as proposed? All right, well, we'll call it for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. The new calendar is approved.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your hard work to make that come out. I know it wasn't easy to fit it within the guidelines that the legislature gives us, but you all have managed to do it.
Thank you.
I think it will be better for students.
Yes, it will be.
Next item is the out-of-state school field trip. Ms. Herring.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This evening, I'd like to present a out-of-state field trip from Northeast Elementary. They would like to recognize students who do well on their EOGs and recognize them and give them as a reward a trip to King's Dominion in Virginia, June the 6th. And the students, the average is 100 to 150. I spoke to Ms. Woods this afternoon. And we won't have a hard number until after EOG scores come back, but we'll definitely have the ratios 10 to 1 ready to go. That won't be a problem.
All right.
And they're taking charter buses.
Do we have a motion to approve the out-of-state school field trip?
We said
Motion to
charter
approve
bus.
the out-of-state school trip as presented.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Hill makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second by Mr. Davis. Any further discussion? All right, then we'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is approved.
Thank you.
And we are finally back to the Kinston High School Baseball Complex naming request. Mr. Harvey, if you'll introduce that item.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last month, I presented for first reading a request by Kinston High School to rename the baseball complex after Coach Ronnie Battle. As you've heard tonight and last month, Coach Battle served as head coach at Kinston High School from 1980 to 2003. Coach Battle retired having earned the most wins in school history. 2014, he was also inducted to the 2014 Kinston-Lenore County Sports Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, Coach lost his battle with cancer earlier this year. We present this for approval in accordance to policy 9300 tonight.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Mr. Anderson. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Woods. Discussion on the motion? I mean, I just, for everybody out there, you need to understand that we don't take these kind of requests lightly. This is something that is very important to the board, especially when we're managing our facilities. We've got a policy that's in place that tries to limit these requests to only to people who are truly deserving, not to try to judge anybody's contribution against anybody else's. What I look for in this type of situation is somebody who's really almost had a lifetime dedication. And I do think Ronnie Battle absolutely fits the definition of the kind of person we want to honor in naming these facilities. So I absolutely intend to support it. I don't know if anyone else wants to comment on it.
Yeah, just let me say one thing. I noticed we received a lot of emails with support for this. And I can say my time on the board, I don't think I've ever received that many emails in support of anything since being on the board all these years. And what really stood out to me was the former students who wrote in, emailed us about the impact that Coach Battle had made in their lives, not only in baseball, but as individuals. And then I looked at their ending where they're working now and doing very well. So it seems as though he's had a huge impact, not only just on baseball, but as on people as individuals. So I thought that spoke volume when I read all those emails.
Call for the question.
All right. With no further discussion, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Yeah, Mr. Williams, if you'll recognize.
Coach Battle's family is here tonight, and certainly you see from the unanimous vote that this board certainly agrees with what Ms. Young was saying earlier, and this whole community feels that way. And those of us who knew him, admired him, respected him, looked up to him. He's a mentor and a coach to us all. And this community's certainly grateful for his service and grateful that you shared him with us for his brief season here on earth. And we appreciate him and we appreciate you. His legacy will, as I said in my email to you, live on in the lives, as Mr. Smith referenced, of the people who were fortunate enough to know him and be coached by him and be under his mentorship and indeed under his love. So thank you, members of his family, for sharing him with us during those years, because we know it was a sacrifice to be without dad and husband and family member all that time. But his wife, Ms. Berta Battle, is here, and other members of his family. If Ms. Battle, if you'd like to say something. Longtime member of the LCPS team. I've had the pleasure of working with Mrs. Battle too. She's one of the most outstanding teachers we've ever had, so we appreciate your service as well, because we do realize fully yours and his was indeed a partnership of education and love, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate you. So, would anybody else from the family like to share anything? We thank you.
We do thank you. And from this point on, the baseball complex at Kinston High School will be known and named in honor of Coach Ronnie Battle. Next item is the audit contract for 2017-2018. Not quite as exciting, but
I'll pause for the applause.
Mr. Adams never gets any applause. We need to give him a round of applause one day.
Thank you. The engagement letter and audit contract confirm auditor and client understanding for the audit services to be provided by Barrett, Paris, and Davenport for the 17-18 fiscal year. As you'll recall, 2 years ago, we entered into an agreement to have our annual audit performed by Barrett, Paris, and Davenport. However, the audit contract is required annually by LGC and to have a signed engagement letter for each fiscal year.
One question.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson.
When did we say we were going to build this out again?
The three-year agreement would carry through 18-19 and then would be
So how many years is
So
it
we're
that
in
we
year
completed?
2 of a
We're in
three-year
year 2 of
contract,
the
and when we
3-year.
complete the third one, the board, this has to come before the board every year, but we're in a year 2, completing year 2 of a 3-year contract. At the end of next year, it'll be time for the board to decide if you want to bid it out.
All right, we need to approve the audit contract.
So moved.
All right, motion by Mr. Anderson.
Second.
Is that second by Mr. Hill or Mr. King? I lost. Mr. King? Any further discussion on the audit contract? We'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is approved. Thank you. We can be audited. All right, we will now entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move that the Lenore County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel files, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, and to consider matters relating to additional employment of an individual employee.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. Smith. All in favor going into closed session, raise your right hand. We are now in closed session. Thank you very much. We're now back in open session. We will entertain a motion to approve the personnel report with the addendum as well as the contract recommendations for classified personnel.
Mr. Chair, I need to recuse myself from the vote as I have family members on the personnel report.
All right, Mr. Hill will recuse himself. Do we have a motion? Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Smith. We have a second? Second by Mr. Woods. All right, all in favor of approving the personnel report with the addendum, with the contract recommendations, raise your right hand. And it is approved. We have a motion to adjourn. Mr. Anderson moves to adjourn. Second, Mr. Davis. All in favor? We are now adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.